Hey guys, welcome to Hive of Five. I'm Evan.
Hey. I'm Leah.
I'm Silas. I'm Brandon.
Hoyer.
I'm here, Dad.
You're 4 years in.
Hey guys, Hive of Five. And this is our 10,000-ish review of
About
our
11,000.
almost 11.5 of our 2019 Subaru Ascent. We're going to keep it short, so first we'll start with the cons. Number one.
No interior light switch.
Yeah, that's just...
Yeah, we have interior lights. You can push them to turn them on, but you can't. There's no switch for the driver to turn them all on.
And we're not going to elaborate on this one. Last night, literally, Hoyer went to gagging, and by the time, I mean, it was pretty much us trying to get a light to see what was going on. Turned out it's just his fingers, but I mean, it's...
And Hoyer's the little one, I mean, he's big enough to reach a light, but when you have a 2-year-old, they can't turn a light on.
For a family car, terrible.
Not even safe.
No. Anyway, next.
Okay. All the lights don't stay on.
For the back hatch, that's true. You open the back hatch, and that one little light that they give you back there that gets blocked by anything that you put in the back is the only light that stays on. So if you have a trunk full of stuff or a back full of stuff, you can't see to get it out. Or you have to leave the door open.
Yeah. Passenger seat is not very comfortable. I mean, at all.
It sucks.
Yeah. The entertainment system is pretty slow. I mean, there's things we like about it, but it's pretty laggy. It takes a few seconds to change tracks.
Even for CDs, it takes
like
have a
2
CD
seconds
in it
and you push it. Yeah.
But that may be fixed with updates, so we're going to look into that.
The fit and finish.
There's gaps. Like you open the door, there's gaps, and I understand. Like if you're buying a cheaper car, you can expect that. And I ain't trying to say Subarus are cheap, but I'm saying they have been known as a cheaper car. But then when this comes out and you're paying $45,000 for a vehicle, you expect it to be a little bit better. And I think that there's certain places that they need to do that. Some places are really good.
Fill in some of the gaps and stuff, like the plastic that doesn't exactly match up with the door.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, it's pretty good. But for $45,000, $42,000, whatever you want to go with, it could be better.
Yeah. The backup camera.
The backup camera. It's very, very, very hard to get used to. Took me almost 2-3 months to get used to it.
It's nice though after you get used to it.
Yeah.
The tow package. So they come with the tow package. They advertise it, but you don't get a receiver. It comes separate. I mean, it's an option.
Really.
But it would be nice if it just came with it.
Yeah.
You were going to talk about on the hills at slow speeds, CVT.
The CVT, which we was a little apprehensive about it to begin with anyway. And so far it's been pretty good, except for slow speeds in traffic, and I'm talking less than 5 miles an hour. It gets to where it's like surging or jerking or something like that, and also does it off-road. You can see that in our off-road review. But also, now that temperature has started cooling down, we've also been having some trouble early in the morning. Like, we'll let the vehicle get up to operating temperature. We ain't driving cold, and which the CVT. But anyway, it kind of does the same thing in the morning until it kind of gets warmed up. So hopefully that's just something that they're working on, I guess. I don't know.
There's no coat hangers in the 3rd row. They're in the 2nd row, but we have 3 kids, so the 2nd row is always full. People can't really hang clothes there. It would be nice to have some in the 3rd row.
Yeah, even if you didn't, hanging something in the 2nd row blocks your view for the looking for blind spots. That you should have them in the 3rd row.
Yep. Blind spot monitoring. It's nice to have handy, but iffy.
We literally, like just before we started recording, we just passed a Honda Pilot and it didn't pick it up. Do not trust it.
If they're really close to you, it picks them up. But if they're like all the way on the other side of their lane, I mean, you're in the lane beside them, it doesn't pick them up. So don't rely on it.
Yeah. And we live in western North Carolina, and we go around some curves, and there's some curves, I guess maybe there's some iron in the heel or something like that.
Like the rocks.
And it'll pick it up, and there's no metal there visible. So, I mean.
Yeah. And in the manual, they give you the warning. It's not going to pick up bicycles or everything, but it should pick up like a Honda Pilot. I mean, that's an SUV. And the wipers on the handle, they go opposite of each other.
The front, you go one direction, and the turn up the back,
forward,
you go the opposite direction. They should be the same way. That way, it's
so
just
confusing.
You need to turn it up. You know which way to go to turn speed up on.
Yeah. One of them's like backwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those were all of our cons. Obviously, we love the car. We're not saying it's a horrible car. It's just you're going to have things you don't like about anything. So that's the things we don't like about it. Nothing major. But as for the things we like,
with the exception of the light.
Yeah.
That is stupid.
That is major. Yeah.
If we'd known that would have been a probably.
We'd have been like, you give us an interior light switch and we'll buy the car. Otherwise, no. I know the passenger seat isn't comfortable, but the rest of the seats are really comfy.
Even the third row. I mean, maybe we'll do a video, but I'm 6'2", 6'3", and 260 pounds, and I can get in the third row. So
you in the third row.
Not comfortably, but I can get back there. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's really comfy. All the seats slide up. The second row adjusts. It's great. And he really likes on the driver's seat.
Yes.
The front, like.
And now, that don't come on all of them, but that's part of the reason that we got the limited.
Yeah,
is so we can have
the seat out.
The thigh bolster for your thighs, and it really helps on long trips for me.
If you're short, it doesn't really matter. But you know, the entertainment system, we've already complained about it, obviously, because it's laggy, but it is really great because it's really intuitive.
Yeah.
And it does a lot of stuff, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It just needs to work a little bit faster. And then, of course, we've talked about the backup camera field of view, how we didn't really like it. However, now that we're used to it, it's actually really good.
Once you get used to it, you can see, so far, like back in my parking spot, you can see way down the road both ways. And it really helps out knowing when traffic's coming or when somebody's walking or something.
It kind of sees around the car. Like if you're parked beside a car, you never see on down that way, but from the camera, you can. It's pretty great. The headlights. I know I skipped on that.
Oh, the headlights? Okay. The headlights are good. I'm going to touch on one thing. In our 5,000 mile review, 6,000 mile, whatever you want to call it, our headlights, we was talking about the auto dimming feature. And very shortly after that, and we also had a couple of yuns comment on thank-yous, but you can turn them all the way on, just turn the switch, and they'll stay on indefinitely until the car turns off or you turn them off, whichever. But the headlights, we love the headlights. Especially
they work surprisingly well.
The steering around curves where we live, it really does
handy.
help out.
Yeah, for sure. The all-wheel drive system.
So far, so good. I know that in our off-road review, we've had some stuff being said, but we was doing a stock review, and
we weren't trying to show what it could do if we changed it. We just wanted to show what it could do as it came right out of the factory.
And we're not going to off-road.
Lightly off-roading, because we're not going to do that. So we're not going to change our car.
Yeah, that was our off-road review. We won't be doing another one. That's not what we're going to do with it. But for what we need, it does fine. Now, the reason I said for now is because, snow is the main thing for us. And we'll wait and see how that does, and we'll let you know.
Yeah. Climate controls. It's really nice. It's really great. The second row has heated seats, climate control, they control their own.
And they stay on. The heated seats stay on. Where most vehicles, you get out, you turn the vehicle off, and then you get back in and you have to turn it back on. The Subaru Ascent, they stay on in the front. The front stays on, and the back don't, but the front does, and that really helps out.
Super handy. 8 people, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Insert
and we
picture
haul like
here
8 people regularly.
Of 8 people in this vehicle. And 3 of them is kids, but I mean, that's still pretty good for the miles per gallon that we're getting out of this thing.
Seriously. And they can fit pretty comfortably. I mean, I myself have rode in the third row, like actually going places, sandwiched in between 2 children, and I made it. I mean, I'm sure, but I wasn't like horribly uncomfortable or feeling totally squished. Totally worked. The app. We use the app all the time to start the car.
My Subaru app works really well if you have service. And obviously, it don't work if you don't have service.
Yeah.
We may go into another video later on about that, but it does really, we really like it. It was worth our
super handy. It was definitely
worth
it. If you're going to get a Subaru, do the app. Go ahead and do it. It's awesome. The handling, that's your thing.
Right. When we bought this car, it was just coming out, and everybody was saying it. In magazines and forums, even our salesman said it's a WRX, 8-passenger WRX. No, it's not, but it does handle really good. Would it outhandle all 8 passengers? I don't know, but it does handle better than any that I've drove.
Yeah.
That including the Toyota Highlander. And I ain't trying to start anything, but it's just the way that it's laid out. It handles better.
Much better.
And
we compared.
Yeah.
The power.
All right. The power is good, but you can't look at it from 0 to 60 standpoint because it is not good there. The time is okay, but the passing power is where it comes in. Once it gets spooled up, it'll pass fine. Power is really good on it, but once again, if you're wanting a sports car, you don't need an 8-passenger SUV. So,
it is really quiet. I know Subarus have a bad rap for being loud. This one is pretty quiet.
yeah.
I mean, I don't have like a Mercedes to compare it to, obviously, but it's pretty quiet.
Yeah, 70 mile an hour, we can easily carry conversation without much road noise.
This road is so bumpy.
Yeah.
The cup holders, I mean, it has 19, and if it would have just had 18, it probably would have been a deal breaker for me. Just saying. Because I use about all 19 for myself, so
Yeah.
just saying. The brakes.
It does stop really well. It stops exceptionally well when it's stopping for you.
It
Eyesight
does,
system.
and I've done that several times.
Yes, and sometimes it shouldn't be doing that, and sometimes it should, but it does stop exceptionally well.
It's pretty handy to have. Second, safety.
Yep.
So, I think that's about it.
MPG, we didn't really touch on that, but I do want to go back to it. For an 8-passenger SUV, it does get really good. On the highway, if we was really careful with our miles per gallon, we could easily see 30 on the highway, and we have. But around home, we can see 21, 22, where we was seeing, 13 less in a Yukon Denali. So it's definitely improvement, but once again, this is our review. You take what we give you and then you draw your own conclusions. Don't let us sell you a car, but you make your own conclusions out of it.
Yep.
With all that, we will be doing a longer review where we go into more in depth in it, and we may be doing a more in-depth walk around of some of the features later on.
Yeah.
But,
so if you want to see something or you want to know something about it, let us know, because that'll give us a good thing to show you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.